saami nämä kouluttaatsis tai koului nuorta päältä.
These forests are the outcome of tens of thousands of years of interaction between forests and tundra since the last ice age. These same forests are included in the official Sami home area in Finland and in the Finnish reindeer herding area, both of which are strictly defined by legislation. These forests are vital as the last remaining winter grazing areas, which has safeguarded the continuity of traditional reindeer herding based on free grazing. However, industrial forestry of the last 50 years has led to a situation in which the traditional Sami herding culture is threatened by logging and its networks of roads.
Erityisesti poronhoitoa varten tarkoitetulla alueella valtionmaata ei saa käyttää niin, että sitä aiheutuu poronhoidolle huomattavaa haittaa. Mutta sitä huomattavan haitan käsitettä ei ole missään määritelty, että missä pisteessä alkaa se haitta olemaan huomattava. Ja tämä metsätaloustoiminta on ilmeisesti perustunut koko ajan siihen, että
we cannot ignore the ethical and moral ramifications of combining species at the molecular level.
Because this is the most radical thing that has ever happened to breeding plants or animals or other life forms. This is similar to the splitting of the atom.
You better show me it's safe. If you can't do that, then you can't bring it in.
To some people, they think it's just a tiny risk, but it's a huge risk because we don't know what it's going to do.
The biofarm algae case was a case in which a couple of biotech companies wanted to bring in a novel genetically modified organism producing experimental drugs to the pristine Kona coast on the island of Hawaii. One of the world's leading experts on algae said that if a single cell or single drop of this genetically modified algae got out into the Hawaii environment, it would be virtually impossible to recall. The drugs, the experimental drugs that are produced in this algae have never been tested for their impacts on human health. So what we're talking about here is basically an open-air experiment using the Kona community and the people of Hawaii as guinea pigs.
You know, the researchers didn't ask the taro farmers if this is what we wanted. They never asked us. And most farmers are against the genetic modification of taro. And when they start modifying the genes and manipulating the genes, they're doing something, crossing sacred barriers. It seems so unholy. And I'm taking the hard stand on taro, and that is no GMO taro in the field, no GE research of taro in Hawaii.
We have the utmost respect for water.
We mean business when we say we're going to work together to protect, enhance, and keep this water clean and clean it up for ourselves and the future generations.
Our ancient ancestors tell us water is life in itself.
Long ago, our stories tell us people took things for granted. They didn't respect Salmon Woman's gift, her children. Salmon Woman was so upset she told her children not to return to the rivers, and people began to starve and became sick. Many died. When Salmon Woman returned, she promised all the people that if they cherished and respected the land and the water, the salmon would always return.
We see the poisons every day out here. We see the greed every day. We see the waste of water, our resource. We see our earth dying, slow death. We see our earth dying. And that's why we're sitting in this great longhouse today, to make some prayers come true, and to talk about our culture and our way of life. They got to have salmon to sustain them. They got to have their animals to sustain them. They got to have their roots to sustain them. They got to have their berries, their medicines. And we're going to fight every day for the life of our salmon and our animals, our birds and our eagles, our way of life. And you all have to be the messenger now, so we can sustain our lives, not only for us Indian people, but for everybody. Our children, our grandchildren, for the next 100 generations out there. And we're going to do this. We're going to do it together, all of us.